In the book of Leviticus, 26th chapter, if you can go real fast with me, the 12th verse, I want to read something with you. I'm talking about the courage to do nothing. That sounds so different. But it says, and I will walk among you and will be your God, and you shall be my people. That's God talking now. So the first thing you want to do is say, Lord, do I have a relationship with you like that? Do I know you to be a God that's with me, and you are my God, and I'm your child? If there's anything that we learn about being sheep, is that sheep needs courage. Are y'all with me right now? I said sheep need courage. And that's important to me because sheep don't have claws. Sheep don't they don't bite. Well, the ones in the Bible don't bite. They told me that when I first started pastoring. Oh, you pastor the sheep now, the sheep don't bite. Shoes. About 3 years into the pastoring, I thought, these jokers bite. But amen, I came back, the Lord had me to apologize. I was talking about goats. Amen, you come in, some people sound like sheep, but you realize that's not a sheep, that's a goat. They wear sheep clothes and they act like sheep noise, but they'll bite, so those are goats. But sheep don't bite, they don't claw, they don't jump, they're not that fast. They just are. And so being a sheep, you are very defenseless. It's a very defensive creature. And everybody, everything seems to be able to take advantage of sheep. It's amazing that when the Lord started to label us, he calls us sheep. He talks about us being sheep, and sheep has nothing to do when it comes to defending himself. We've been talking a lot about forgiveness, and the reason it's so hard for some of us is because we have to get into sheep mode when we start forgiving. You got to realize God is not telling you now to pick up the phone and cuss him out, pass by and give a hand gesture, show an angry face. So why does a sheep need to be a sheep? And what does a sheep need with courage? Why is this message about courage? And I'm going to let you know here in just a second. But first I want you to take a look at a sheep. Just imagine a sheep in a pasture for a minute. Next to a lion, what can he do? What can that sheep do? Next to a lion, he can be eaten. He can be killed. Or if he's faced with a wolf, what can he do? He's absolutely helpless. It's going to do him no good to stand up and fight. So after roaming around the field, what do sheep need courage for? And this can end the message. They need courage to trust. Let's talk to the core of our hearts here for a minute. I want to make sure this is not too loud. Let's talk to the core of our hearts for just a minute. Here's the secret. You need courage not to fight. Some of you, when we talk about courage, yeah, I'm ready. I'll take him on. I'll take him on. Yeah, come on. And so somebody talks you into saying things that you should have held on to. As a matter of fact, you can go and get a mentor that'll tell you, it's time for you to stand up and say what's on your mind. Stand up and say some things. You've been sitting back too long. And I used to get advice from people like that. And I thought I had to have this certain courage because people start to pour into your life and they'll pour into your thoughts. And once they finish pouring into your life, they've emptied your life and they've emptied their anger, emptied their frustrations into you. God gave you a totally different direction. You need courage not to fight, but you need courage to trust the shepherd. That takes courage. I want you to start with the introduction with me right now, and let's just get you there. Say, Lord, I want the courage to just trust you. I have a tendency, being Rickie G. Rush, and the G always stood for go get 'em. Yeah, I have the courage to do my own fighting. I like to take care of business on my own. That's the way I've always been. And I say always been, that's the way I was. Amen. Don't you like that? You know, if something's coming after you, you want to be able to defend yourself, fight yourself. I like to get into it. I like to feel like I'm whipping the devil both top and bottom. I want to be able to come out and say, Lord, I'm victorious. He challenged me and I went right for him. And I like to do that. I want to give the devil a knockout blow and feel like I'm doing something. But you know what? I've had to face the fact that I can never do it. Every time I end up getting into a battle with the enemy, somehow I'm the one that's whipped. I'm weaker. I feel horrible. Watch this. I've done something wrong. It was going right. I said the wrong things. I made the wrong moves. I used the wrong tone. I developed a false sense of strength and power. Is that like anybody else in here? Am I opening up my own book? I'm one of his sheep, but when it comes to fighting the devil, I used to think that I had to just take over all of it and do it on my own. And after fighting the devil, I couldn't even smile with people. I want to tell you something. You, if you're like me and you're listening wherever you are, you're helpless. What? Pastor, that's not the message I need my nephew to hear. He needs to hear this. You're helpless. There's nothing you can do to put put the devil under your feet. If you're faced in a fight, you're going to be defeated, but you need not suffer defeat at the hands of Satan, because the shepherd has already done the fighting for you. If you find yourself fighting the devil, it's because you stood in front of the shepherd. I'm talking this morning about the courage to do. You got to be deprogrammed a little bit. I know you're racist and you powerful and you white power and you black power and you all this power and you've been, somebody's been telling you to do it on your own. God gave you power and authority to do nothing. Do you know how much power it takes to trust? You ever left a kid in the house for a few seconds and said, I'll be right back? And before you could get to the curb or go to the garage, wherever you needed to go, the child started crying. I had to do that with my boy this week. And I was just out of the car for a half a second. But from that time, and he can talk and he can articulate. By the time I got out the car, by the time I just made it right back around, he had started crying. And he could see me. But he got in fear because although he could see me, he couldn't see how far I was going to go or how soon I would get back. And I got in the car and I said, son, and it hurt me. It really hurt me. It hurt me because what hurt me is that in his mind, he thought I was going to abandon him. Y'all don't get where And here's the catch. He was strapped into his car seat so he could do nothing but trust me. We're about to get ready to go home. I can't talk that much this morning. I want to convey to you this morning that God is trying to help me to help you to see that you've come this far. If you're not strapped in yet, you're getting ready for another journey. God says, I'm not leaving you, but I want you to trust me that just look up, just look up. Don't put that gun to your head. Don't quit that job. Don't say those words. Don't slam that phone down. Don't lock those people out. Trust him. Let's look at the sheep for just a second. With all of these enemies around, you're a sheep. I don't know if we have a little drawing of some sheep there, but you'll see with sheep, they got all kinds of enemies around. You got mountains, and the sheep have courage enough to trust the shepherd. Why do you know that? Because if you look at sheep as they're grazing, they got enemies around. You got bears around. You got tigers around. You got dogs around. And what are those sheep doing? Eating. Heads down. Eating. Wouldn't you think with bears and tigers and all that around, wouldn't you think they'd be a little paranoid? Not if you trust that your shepherd. All you got to do every once in a while is look up and see he's there. I don't concern myself with the bear because I know the shepherd. How many of you know he's there? If you know he's there, I know I'm not concerned myself with how much I don't have in the bank. I just know he's there. I'm not concerned with what people are saying anymore. I know that he's there. Look up. Just look up. Just look up. Let me speak a word to your spirit this morning. Just look up. I know the report came from the doctor, but just look up. Look up. Look up. Look up. You're crying because you think God doesn't know. Look up.